Hi there. In this video, we will see what is JavaScript and in-depth view of its features. And by the end of this video, you will have a clear idea about JavaScript and its features. This is a part of full course that's available on Udemy, and with the link below in the description, you can get this course for just $9.99. In this course, I've explained all of these topics, which give you a deep understanding of how JavaScript works behind scenes. And for now, let's begin with what is JavaScript. JavaScript is a high-level, lightweight, loosely typed, concurrent, non-blocking, and interpreted programming language. It has prototypal inheritance, first-class functions, event loop, and supports multiple programming paradigms. And we will see all of these features in this tutorial. And for now, let's begin with how JavaScript is a high-level language. Basically, programming languages are classified into two types. They are low-level language and high-level language. And low-level language is one which is readable by computer or machine. And high-level language is one which is readable by human beings. So let's see an example. Can you understand this? Well, this is a code for finding the position of a given number in a Fibonacci sequence. And now let's see the same example in JavaScript. Well, you can read it, right? And if you have basic programming knowledge, you can even understand what this program does. So with this, we can clearly say that JavaScript is high-level language. And now let's see how JavaScript is interpreted code. Interpreted code is a type of code execution where the code is executed immediately after passing. This is in contrast to compiled code, where passed code is converted to a file, mostly binary, and then that file needs to be executed in order to run the program. Okay, so let's see an example. In this, I'm using a simple Java code which prints hello world as its output. Okay, and I'm saving this file as greet.java. Okay, and in order to compile this program, I gotta run it inside terminal. So let's move to terminal. In this, let's check whether our file is there or not. So ls, well, here is a file that we have saved, right? And now let's compile this code using Java compiler. So javac greet.java. Well, it didn't print anything. And if I access this again now, see that we have a new .class file. So in order to execute this .class file, we have to use Java keyword. So Java greet. See that? Now it printed hello world. And this type of code is called compiled code. Okay? And now let's see how JavaScript works. So for this, I'm moving to a text editor, and in this, I'm declaring a variable named greet and initializing it with a string hello world. And after this, I'm using a console.log statement to print the value in variable greet. Okay, so if I move to browser and run this code now, see that it printed the output immediately. And this is what is called interpreted code, where it doesn't create any intermediate compiled files. Okay, so JavaScript is interpreted code. And now let's see how JavaScript is light in weight. So to understand this, let's see some features of Java. Java is a programming language which can be used to program a network, create user interface, create a desktop or mobile application. It has input-output streaming, file systems, and more. And this is the reason why, apart from calling it as a programming language, it is called a software platform. And just using Java, we can do all of this. Yeah, just using Java. And now let's see the role of JavaScript in browser. And for this, let's begin with understanding how browser's rendering engine works. So first, the HTML documents are parsed using HTML parser. And at this point, it converts all the HTML elements from DOM nodes to DOM tree. And coming to CSS files, they are parsed using CSS parser. And after parsing, they form style rules. And after this, both DOM tree and style rules are attached to form a new tree called render tree. Render tree is all about dimensions, colors, and rectangles. And these rectangles are placed in such a way that they're going to be displayed in the same order in the browser. And during this, rendering tree goes through a process called layout. And in this, it decides where to keep each rectangle. And finally, the whole web page is painted onto the browser. And now, do you see any JavaScript's involvement in this? No, right? And now let's see what JavaScript engine actually does. So it takes JavaScript files, process them, and give the result. Well, it's quite simple, right? But you might have heard that with JavaScript, we can change the view of HTML elements, we can make server requests, and more, right? Well, JavaScript does all of that using APIs. API is an acronym for Application Programming Interface, and they act like a middleman. So, for example, consider there are two people. One person know only English, and the other person know only Spanish. So if these two people need to talk, well, there need to be a translator in between, right? And only then they can understand each other. So this is what APIs actually does. They take command from one language and process the result in some other language. And now if you compare JavaScript and Java, well, you can clearly see that in JavaScript, if you need anything apart from its basic functionality, well, we have to provide it using APIs. But whereas in Java, they are built into it. So JavaScript is very small when compared to Java, right? And in software terminology, this is called light in weight. Okay? So with this, we can say that JavaScript is light in weight. And now let's see how JavaScript is loosely typed. To understand it, let's begin with what is data structure. Data structure is how you store data in memory and how you access it. And now let's see what is data type. Data type is named property of data with specific characteristics. Example, string, integer, etc. And now let's see what is loosely typed programming language. In programming languages like C and Java, whenever we declare a variable, we have to mention what type of data is going to be stored while declaration itself. And the variable stores data only of that data type. So in this statement, integer a, which means that I will be storing only integers. And in this, I'm initializing this a to 10, which is integer, and it doesn't throw any errors. But if I initialize the same variable with a string, it will throw error. Okay? And now let's see how JavaScript behaves in this scenario. So I have declared a variable named a. So initially I've assigned this variable with integer 10, and it didn't throw any errors. And after this, I've assigned the same variable with a string, and even now it didn't throw any errors. And after this, I've assigned the same variable with other data types. Even then, it didn't throw any errors. And this is what loosely typed actually mean, where a data type of a variable can be changed dynamically depending upon the data type of the value that's assigned to that variable. And with this example, we can say that JavaScript is loosely typed. And now let's see how JavaScript supports multiple programming paradigms. To see this, let's begin with what is programming paradigm. Programming paradigm is defined as a way to classify programming languages depending upon their features. There are mainly two types of programming paradigms. They are imperative and declarative. And JavaScript is imperative type of programming language. Okay? And these are the programming paradigms that JavaScript supports. They are functional, object-oriented with prototype-based inheritance, and event-based. And you will see what these actually are in upcoming videos in this tutorial. Okay? So for now, JavaScript supports multiple programming paradigms. And if you like this video, please do check out full course on Udemy, where I've explained all of these topics with simple examples that clearly show how these work in different scenarios. I've put the link in the description below, and first 2,000 members will get $15 off of the course if you purchase it through the link below. And if you like this video, please do like it, share it, and subscribe for more. Thank you.